Nobody in that courtroom was ready for what happened next. 1 second, the room was silent, stiff suits, nervous whispers, the quiet tension of a verdict everyone feared but nobody wanted to believe. And the next? Gasps. Shock. Absolute chaos. Because according to explosive viral reports circulating online, the judge leaned forward, adjusted his glasses, and delivered the words that allegedly changed everything. 5 years. 5 years. Let that sink in. How does someone go from public apologies, emotional breakdowns, and promises of redemption to facing the possibility of years behind bars? Was this justice finally catching up? Or was there something deeper, darker, and far more calculated happening behind the scenes? Eyewitness accounts claim the atmosphere shifted instantly. Faces froze. Lawyers scrambled. And at the center of it all stood a man whose story had already captivated millions, now caught in a moment that may define his legacy forever. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Sources say this verdict wasn't just about the past. It was triggered by something new. Something unexpected. Something the court reportedly wasn't supposed to see. Secret evidence. Leaked footage. And a revelation so explosive, it allegedly turned sympathy into suspicion in seconds. So, what exactly did the judge see? And why are insiders saying this courtroom eruption may only be the beginning? For weeks, the tension had been building like a storm nobody could stop. Cameras lined the courthouse steps. Fans gathered behind barricades, whispering theories, pointing fingers, refreshing their phones every few seconds. This wasn't just another celebrity legal hearing. This was personal. This was emotional. And according to insiders, this was inevitable. At the center of it all stood Todd Tucker, once seen as the calm, supportive partner, the quiet strategist behind the scenes. For years, he maintained an image of control, composure, and loyalty. He wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He didn't need to be. His power, according to those close to him, came from something else: timing. Because timing, as it turns out, can change everything. Standing on the opposite side was Candy Burris, a woman whose public strength had become her defining identity. She had defended him when others doubted. She had stood beside him when rumors spread. And perhaps most importantly, she had forgiven him when many believed she shouldn't have. But forgiveness, as this courtroom was about to prove, doesn't erase the past. According to multiple anonymous sources, the relationship had been deteriorating long before anyone realized. Behind closed doors, tensions reportedly escalated. Conversations became confrontations. Silence became strategy. And while the public saw carefully crafted appearances, insiders claim something far more complicated was unfolding privately. Then came the first crack in the facade. It started subtly. A delayed response. A canceled appearance. A sudden shift in tone during what should have been routine public moments. Observers noticed the change immediately. The warmth was gone. The connection looked strained. And fans, who had followed their journey for years, began asking uncomfortable questions. What happened? Why no? And most importantly, what weren't they being told? Then came the moment that changed everything. Sources claim that during a private legal filing, new material was introduced, material that allegedly contradicted previous narratives. Details that raised eyebrows. Claims that didn't align with the emotional apologies the public had witnessed just weeks earlier. At first, it was dismissed as routine legal maneuvering, a technicality, a delay tactic. But then insiders began whispering about something more serious. Something visual. Something undeniable. Evidence. Not rumors. Not speculation. Evidence. According to individuals familiar with the proceedings, legal teams on both sides immediately shifted strategy. The energy in the courtroom changed. Conversations became urgent. Faces hardened. Whatever had surfaced wasn't minor. It was disruptive. Observers noticed Todd's demeanor change as well. The confidence that once defined him appeared to flicker. His posture stiffened. His expressions became guarded. It was subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but to those watching closely, it was unmistakable. He knew something. The question was, what? Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, the public narrative was spiraling out of control. Social media exploded with theories. Fans dissected old interviews, searching for hidden meaning. Every past apology, every emotional statement, every carefully chosen word was now being re-examined under a completely different lens. Had it all been genuine? Or had it all been preparation? Because according to one anonymous insider, the most shocking moment hadn't even happened yet. The evidence hadn't been fully revealed. Not publicly. Not completely. And as the judge prepared to review the final submission, the same submission insiders claimed triggered the explosive reaction that would soon follow, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just about a relationship anymore. This was about truth. And someone in that courtroom was about to lose everything. The moment the court clerk announced the next phase of the proceedings, the atmosphere inside the courtroom became suffocating. You could feel it. Not see it. Not hear it. Feel it. Because everyone knew something was coming. Something big. According to courtroom observers, the judge leaned forward slightly, his expression unreadable, as a sealed envelope was handed directly to the bench. No announcement. No explanation. Just a quiet transfer of something insiders would later describe as the turning point. On the surface, Todd Tucker remained still. Calm. Controlled. But those watching closely noticed the micro-reactions. The tightening of his jaw. The way his fingers stopped moving. The sudden stillness of someone who realized the game had changed. And then, the judge opened the envelope. What happened next, according to multiple eyewitnesses, didn't make sense at first. The judge's expression shifted. Not dramatically. Not theatrically. But enough. Enough to send a ripple of panic across the defense table. Todd's legal team immediately leaned toward each other, whispering urgently. Papers shuffled. One attorney reportedly shook his head slowly, almost imperceptibly, as if confirming a fear he had hoped wasn't real. Because whatever the judge was looking at, it wasn't expected to surface this soon. Outside the courtroom, rumors began spreading instantly. Anonymous accounts on social media posted cryptic messages within minutes. The evidence is real. He didn't think they had it. This changes everything. No one knew exactly what it was, but everyone knew it mattered. Inside the courtroom, the tension escalated further when the judge called both legal teams forward for a private sidebar discussion. No microphones. No public record. Just quiet, intense conversation that lasted far longer than anyone anticipated. Observers described Todd's reaction during that moment as the most revealing part of the entire hearing. He didn't look angry. He didn't look defensive. He looked unsettled. For weeks, he had maintained composure under public scrutiny. He had endured accusations, speculation, and relentless media attention. But this moment was different. This moment wasn't about public opinion. This was about consequences. Meanwhile, social media had entered full meltdown mode. A viral post from an account claiming to have direct knowledge of the evidence read. This wasn't emotional. This was strategic. And now the truth is finally visible. Within minutes, hashtags began trending. Hashtag courtroom shock, hashtag verdict incoming, hashtag truth exposed. Fans were divided instantly. Some defended him. This is manipulation. They're trying to destroy him. Others were convinced this was long overdue. You can't fake accountability forever. Even public figures began weighing in indirectly. Cryptic tweets. Deleted posts. Vague statements about karma and timing. It was chaos. And then came the moment that truly shook the room. The judge returned to his seat. Silence fell instantly. He adjusted the papers in front of him slowly, deliberately, as if understanding the weight of what he was about to say. Todd sat motionless, his legal team rigid, every eye locked on the bench. And then the judge spoke. Not the verdict. Not yet, but something else. According to multiple people present, the judge acknowledged the existence of newly submitted material and confirmed that it would be fully considered in determining the final outcome. That one sentence changed everything, because it confirmed the rumors. This wasn't speculation anymore. This was real. And as the courtroom sat frozen in anticipation, one terrifying question hung in the air unanswered. What exactly had the judge just seen, and how devastating would its impact be? No one moved. Not the lawyers. Not the spectators. Not even the reporters whose fingers hovered above their keyboards, ready to blast the moment across the internet. Because the judge had gone quiet again. And in that silence, something shifted. According to eyewitnesses, Todd Tucker's composure, the same composure he had maintained for weeks, finally began to crack. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was subtle. His shoulders dropped slightly. His eyes, once steady and confident, now avoided the bench completely. He knew. Everyone in that room knew. The moment had arrived. The judge reached for the final document. The same document insiders claimed contained the evidence that had triggered everything. The same evidence that had forced private conversations, urgent whispers, and visible panic from the defense. Then, in a calm, measured voice, the judge began to speak. Observers say the first few words didn't sound explosive. They didn't sound emotional. They sounded procedural, careful, precise. But the meaning behind them hit harder than anyone expected. Because according to multiple courtroom sources, the judge confirmed that the newly reviewed material had significantly impacted the court's understanding of the situation. Significantly impacted. Those two words echoed like thunder. Todd's legal team reportedly froze. One attorney leaned closer to him, whispering something no one else could hear. Todd didn't respond. He didn't move. He simply stared forward, his expression now completely different from the man who had entered that courtroom hours earlier. Gone was the quiet confidence. Gone was the control. In its place was uncertainty. Outside the courthouse, the crowd had grown. Word was spreading fast. Phones buzzed endlessly. Live streams began popping up across social platforms. Headlines formed in real time. Something was happening. Something irreversible. Inside, the judge continued, explaining that the court had reached a decision based on the totality of information presented, both previously known and newly revealed. Observers described the moment as surreal. Time slowed. Breaths were held. And then it happened. The verdict was delivered. According to eyewitness reports, the words landed like a shockwave. Audible gasps filled the room. One spectator covered their mouth in disbelief. Another shook their head slowly, as if trying to process what they had just heard. Todd Tucker didn't react immediately. At least not outwardly. But those watching closely noticed the smallest, most human detail of all. He blinked. Slowly. As if reality itself had shifted. His legal team immediately went into motion, gathering documents, speaking urgently among themselves. Their calm professionalism was gone, replaced by something else. Damage control. Because whatever strategy they had relied on, it hadn't worked. Outside, the reaction was instantaneous. Social media exploded. Livestream viewers screamed in disbelief. Comment sections flooded with reactions ranging from celebration to shock to outright denial. No way. This can't be real. IT finally happened. The narrative had flipped completely. For weeks, speculation had dominated the conversation. Rumors, theories, doubts. But now there was something else. Finality. And yet, according to insiders, the most unsettling detail came after the verdict was announced. As officers moved closer, preparing for the next procedural step, Todd reportedly remained completely still. No outburst. No protest. No visible anger. Just silence. A silence some described as acceptance. Others described as calculation. Because according to one anonymous courtroom observer, as he stood up slowly, Todd briefly glanced back toward the gallery. Not in panic. Not in fear. But with an expression no one could fully explain. An expression that raised a chilling possibility. This wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. And, just like that, everything changed. One moment, the narrative was filled with apologies, emotional breakdowns, and promises of redemption. The next, it transformed into something far more serious. A courtroom decision. A reaction nobody expected. And a chain of consequences that may only now be beginning to unfold. But here's the question nobody can stop asking. Was this truly justice finally catching up, or was this the result of a much bigger strategy playing out behind closed doors? Because if there's one thing this entire saga has proven, it's that what the public sees is rarely the full story. There are always layers, always secrets, always moves happening in silence before the world ever notices. And now, with the verdict delivered and the shockwaves spreading across social media, people are starting to re-examine everything. Every apology, every interview, every moment that once seemed emotional and sincere now looks different through a new lens. Was it genuine? Or was it preparation? Sources claim this may not be the final chapter. Legal experts are already hinting at possible appeals. Insiders are whispering about unreleased information. And some believe the biggest revelation hasn't even surfaced yet. So what do you think? Was this outcome inevitable from the beginning? Or did something unexpected behind the scenes change the course of everything at the last second? Do you believe the full truth has finally come out, or is there still something bigger waiting to be exposed? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Your theory could be closer to the truth than you realize. And if you've been following this story from the very beginning, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because this story isn't fading away. In fact, insiders say the next revelation could be even more shocking than the verdict itself. Stay alert. Stay curious. Because the truth is never finished.